Hi, I'm Melissa Cable with Create Recklessly, and I'm here to teach you how to set snaps in faux leather. A snap has 4 pieces. You can see them here. There's a cap, a receiver, the back post, and the stud. This is also called a socket, but let me tell you why I call it a receiver. One of the biggest problems people have when they start to set snaps is remembering which pair goes together. So I always like to give it a football analogy. I think of the cap like the captain and the receiver. So the captain and the receiver go together, and then the back post and the stud go together. So hopefully that'll help you remember. If you accidentally do it the other way and you switch them like this, it's not the end of the world. You will notice your snap is a little harder to take off than you're used to with other snaps. So try and remember the cap and the receiver goes together. And again, we call this the receiver because it receives in the stud. So you can see that as a visual reminder. The first thing we do when we need to set a snap are punch the holes. And we're going to use a 1/8 inch hole punch for that. So we're going to punch our hole here. You can see we have a nice clean hole. We're going to put in our cap on the surface and our receiver on the back. Now, to preserve this really nice rounded shape to the face of our cap, we're going to use our anvil. And if you've watched any of our other hardware setting videos, you'll remember we talked about using your anvil on a tabletop surface, not on our board, because we want as firm of a surface as possible and not the bounce that you would get from using your cutting surface. However, be sure to protect your table so you don't leave a circular ring on your anvil as you hammer it. So we're going to turn the cap over into the concave side of our anvil. And now we're going to switch to our line 20 snap setter. Now you'll notice in the Create Recklessly kit we have 2 snap setters. We have a line 24 and we have a line 20 snap setter. You'll notice that the line 24 snap setter also doubles as the medium eyelet setter, the eyelet setter we use for our 3/16 inch eyelets. The line 24 snaps are meant for much thicker material, so you'll tend to not use this very much in making jewelry, but we noted that it's a line 24 snap on the medium eyelet, so that if you do find other hardware out in the market that you'd like to use, our set really works with a lot of variety of materials. That gives you some flexibility. We're going to use the line 20 snap setter, screw that in, position it over the peg of the cap, the post of the cap, and give it a few good strikes. Now again, we've talked in some of our other videos about not giving it one big strike. You want to do it slowly enough so the material has time to flare and not crack. And now our receiver is attached to the cap. You want to make sure it's firm enough where there's not a lot of wobble. If you've ever had one of those bracelets or a bag, you hear a constant jingle from it. It's usually because the snap is set a little loosely. Now, a good trick for measuring your bracelet to see where to put the other side of the cap is now you can take the snap over, line it up, and press firmly. Now, with faux leather, the impression is going to go away pretty quickly, so I'd like to have a little pen on hand to quickly mark the circle where it left an impression. With leather and other materials, it'll last a little longer and you'll know exactly where to put your snap. So my dot's here. I got a little off center, so I'll know to adjust that when I mark it. Switch back to our hole punch and punch our hole. Now notice I didn't punch both our holes at the same time because again, I wanted to have the opportunity to refine the length of my cuff in this particular case. Now the back post goes on the back, just as it denotes, and that gives a nice flat surface to be against your skin when you wear your piece. And then we're going to put the stud right over the top. Now because that back piece is flat, we're going to switch our anvil to the flat side. We're going to move it over to the flat side and then switch back to our line 20 snap setter. Now again, I changed my tool twice in order to do the holes separately. And I still, although it's one more tool loading and unloading, it really benefits you to be able to refine that size before you set your snap, because once your snap is set, it's set. So let's go ahead and in the same way, a few good taps here. And now we have our set stud. We can trim our bracelet knowing that this is excess material using our rotary cutter and a ruler. If you haven't had a chance to watch the video on cutting, be sure to take a look at that and it'll give you some good tips for using these tools and materials. And let's close this for safety's sake, and we'll set this aside. And this is how you set snaps. Now I would go back and round the edges, and we'll show you how to do that in another video just to refine the shape a little bit. And we'll also talk about ways that you can finish the edges. So be sure to take a look at that video as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned how to set snaps and that you have a chance to look at some of our other hardware videos, including how to set cap rivets, how to set eyelets, and how to set spots. Thanks for watching.